chapel, this very special chapel of the second apparitions, in a sense the follow-up of the apparitions of Mary at Fatima. Now these apparitions to Santa Lucia, to be quite honest, these and this place is somewhat news to me. I think I was aware that she had some additional apparitions. I think I was aware that she had, definitely that she became a nun in a convent. I did not know that it was here in this place. And so this was, for me, very much of a surprise. And perhaps, very interestingly, we are going to be using the second set of apparitions as our prelude to going to Fatima for that first set, and to ponder perhaps a bit the exploring the meaning of these apparitions in relation to the other appearances of Mary and in relation to our own day. I do not have on here specifically a Mass for Our Lady of Fatima, but the first thing that came up was at least the prayer, the opening prayer, the collect for our Mother of Sorrows. And so our Mother of Sorrows has been kind of a recurring theme. You may remember we began with the first Mass in Paris with celebrating our Mother of Sorrows, the feast, right after the exaltation of the Holy Cross. And so our Mother of Sorrows has been something of a constant companion, Mary under that aspect, that title. So perhaps in this place it is quite fitting for us to celebrate that feast of her. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. A lot is often made of the secrets of Fatima, and yet they are very, very secondary. The message of Fatima is the perennial message of the gospel. No private revelation, even if it has the approval of the church, no private revelation can truly add to the gospel message. It can only perhaps unfold it more in our own time. It was on the eve of, or actually within, I believe, World War I that Our Lady appeared at Fatima. It was on the eve of it was actually during the triumphant, elated, roaring 20s that these apparitions happened here. On the eve of what? The roaring 20s ended with a real drop, a depression, which gave birth to Nazism, which stimulated the advance of communism, which gave birth to World War II, the Cold War, and in a very real way, the state of war that has been manifested in no major declared war, but warring people, warring groups, nations, ethnic groups, against one another, religious groups against one another, that has characterized the whole second half of the 20th century and is ever growing now. Guess what? We don't need secrets coming from on high to tell us that we're in a pretty dreadful state. And we don't need to go after this saying or that secret or this whatever to read the signs of the times. And so, quite honestly, I do not pay much attention, particularly to those who are caught up with these revelations. Because the real revelation is what Jesus himself said. Read the signs of the times. That's why I think perhaps the concentration on Our Lady of Fatima as giving warnings and calling for the rosary and calling for this prayer or that prayer or calling for external actions is very secondary compared with the change of heart that is being called for all of us. The rosary is a magnificent, wonderful prayer and opportunity for prayer. And it must be said in union with Mary, not just to Mary. Mary never comes proclaiming herself. She always comes proclaiming her Son. So we come to him through her. This is why perhaps, even though we have visited and taken, appropriated for ourselves these various titles of Mary, Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal, Our Lady of Lourdes, Our Lady of Fatima, we began with the patronage of Our Lady of Sorrows, the one standing before the cross, witness to her Son's suffering, joined in with her Son's suffering, and given to us as our mother. Not imposed, simply given. Here she is, Jesus says to the beloved disciple, and the beloved disciple is us. Here she is. She is your mother. And we know that within a family relationship, the mother isn't everything. At least not within a whole and intact family. The mother is a part of a complexus, a constellation of relationships among the members of the family. So she plays an integral role in our salvation, but she isn't everything. So, what is our salvation from? We just have to look around. What is our salvation for? Our salvation is for living now the life in union with God through Jesus Christ that opens up to the fulfillment of God's kingdom in eternity. So as we walk through this life, conscious of her protection, conscious of God's grace, we have to keep our eyes firmly on what St. Paul says is the prize, the goal. The goal being union with God in the fulfillment of his kingdom. We begin living the life of the kingdom here. The life of the kingdom is not one of fulfilling certain conditions. The life of the kingdom is one of imitating the mercy of God. What we receive, we imitate. And my last point. And that's the meaning of the Eucharist. Jesus joins with us so closely, not merely as my intimate dear Jesus, but as the one who joins himself with his mercy for all. And so what we receive, we don't just take for ourselves. What we receive, we become for the world. And so let's stand to pray.